So for you guys who don't know what a liquor is that the thing that looks like carnage? And so it's all red.
Description.
It looks like carnage. Climbs the walls. Long tongue. You know it when you see it.
Yeah. So that thing is already dangerous in modern Resident Evil games.
Right.
I mean, they're still dangerous, but they're less of a threat because you have a shotgun and you have tons of ammo.
You have ways
around.
of disposing of this threat.
Yeah, in modern.
Not in RE.
In this remake, if you're new, you really need to decide whether you want to get rid of this thing or just walk around it.
If you can walk around.
Yeah, if you can. I mean, you can, but enemies here are very sensitive to sound. Zombies can ignore you if you don't make a sound, if you don't haphazardly shoot your bullets. Enemies can just ignore you entirely. If you don't alert it first. Right. There are some scripted fights, but you can just circumvent.
When you say scripted,
like they just burst in through the windows.
Right. Akala ko time ano yan?
No. There's no
quick time events.
Quick time events there. Well, there is a mechanic. So the knife is back, but since Capcom figured out you can't abuse this shit anymore.
Right.
Yeah. They did that with Resident Evil 4, remember?
Right.
Just headshot them. That way you'll save some bullets.
Yeah.
And then they introduced the Las Plagas.
Well, the ones that come out of the head.
Yeah.
So a little bit of context: when Capcom realized that all you need to do is blow off the zombie's head, they introduced this new mechanic where the zombie is infected by a plague, by a parasite. Which after you blow their head off, out comes just a new threat with flailing arms around and just start hitting you and killing you faster. So none of that crap now.
So yeah, they circumvented that, and then they did that again with the remake. The knife can now break.
Are you shitting me, really?
Yeah.
Fucking spoiler for me, man. Because in Resident Evil 4 and then 5 and then
you
6,
have infinite knife. You can complete the game with just the knife.
Right. And if the closer you are to the zombie, the easier it is for you to kill with the knife because it goes into this quick time action of stabbing the guy or whatever.
Yeah, you can actually kill Krauser in 5 hits.
Like almost insta kill. Yeah. Really, almost insta kill. But now the knife breaks.
The knife breaks.
What?
Like after.
Like Mr. X isn't bad enough. The knife has to break.
Yeah. The knife was like 10 uses. There's a meter. You can see it.
Please tell me you can repair the thing.
No.
Oh, god damn it!
You have to look for different knives lying around.
That just excites me for whatever happens in Resident Evil 3. Tell them that experience you had in the save point. That's really fun.
Oh, okay. So after the mess that I was sandwiched between Mr. X and the liquor, I had to waste my shotgun ammo just trying to get away.
Right.
So sometimes I have to test some theories, because video game logic, right?
Right.
If you're in a save point, you can't enter. Enemies can't harm you.
Right. That's true.
The first save point you ever encounter in that game is the main hall. Your save point is a typewriter there, so that's your safe area because there's you know how in Resident Evil there's music when you're in a safe area.
Right.
Yeah, that's like that. Usually music plays. Okay. You can't. So I escaped him narrowly. Close the door. Okay, you can't get me. There's a typewriter here. He just powered through that door.
So in Resident Evil 2 Remastered, there's no saving you from Mr. X, whether it's in the save point or whatever.
Well, actually, from what I found out, there are certain safe areas there. You just need to figure out which one.
In that dark
in that
environment.
Yeah, we just need to find out which save area is very safe.
I see. Well, there it is. But well, if you guys are wondering where's that background noise coming from, we are in the parents' house. Yay! You'll soon.
Doggos galore.
Well, we have a lot of dogs.
It's not a full moon tonight.
Well, it is. It's turning into a full moon tonight. That's why probably they're going crazy. But you'll see that in a video that we'll be releasing in quite a few in a few days. Actually, that we're in the parents' house. We're staying for the holidays, and we have a ton of dogs. You guys figure that out. But it all adds to the accent, and that's what it all that's what it is. That's how you deal with it. But yeah, so that's it's quite an experience for Resident Evil, huh?
Oh yes.
It's an experience, but we're here to talk about that, and then how we Filipinos in the past few years we've been very much exposed to a lot of pop culture stuff. We've broken ground, and we've come up with a new way of accepting gamers, pop culture enthusiasts, superhero movie fanatics, comic book readers, people who actually talk about the game apart from the fact that it's a fun game to play. They actually talk about certain experiences, certain events in games, certain conventions. There are a lot of things that have been happening like that very recently.
Oh yes.
If you guys were thinking, we were in ESGS. We had a fun day there.
Hopefully they had a fun day. I had one, sure.
Where he disappeared. He disappeared for the entire day, and then we realized he was just lining up for the Devil May Cry and Resident Evil 2.
Devil May Cry, man. I haven't played Devil May Cry in years, since 4.
So he lined up there for the entire day, and we were all looking for him. We were kind of worried, and I was in my Akuma outfit, looking for my brother. That's not a good experience, but yeah, that's what it is. Nowadays, we Pinoys have had a very good share of the spotlight when it comes to geekery and all around nerdiness. In our first episode,
more evident than anime.
Yeah, anime, yeah, definitely. I myself am an anime fan. He's an anime fan. In our first episode, we covered the revival of Combatron. In the second episode, we covered, a lot of stuff about people who are coming in the geek world, in the geek scene. Oh, yeah. Online stuff have been very prevalent. You have online stores, you have online shops, and all sorts of things that are modern.
I mean, technology.
Technology has really encroached in the Filipino life, and it has at some point helped us go mainstreamish. And true to our what?
Yeah, actually, I think one person Mika's watching is part Filipino.
Who?
Cub Scouts.
Cub Scouts. Oh, really? He's Filipino.
So Mika says, but I don't know for sure. Maybe I'll verify that one later or something.
There have been a lot of, guava juice.
Yeah, guava
definitely
juice.
Guava juice. Guava juice is Filipino. No other Filipino would put such high regard to guava than Filipino.
To be fair, guava's kind of okay.
Yeah. I never liked guava, but I've only known Filipinos who like guava. But hey, color me ignorant, but guava Filipino. They're very easy. And here, true to our hashtag, which is Dream Big, Go Big. I guess a lot of kids during our generation always thought about having to incorporate some sort of nerdiness or geekiness in their lives. They've always wondered what it'd be like to be a comic book creator or a comic book artist. What it'd be like to be the ones who create the games that we play.
Didn't you draw some shit back then?
I tried drawing until I got to the hands, and I royally screwed it up, and I just gave up. And we would make our own comic books. We would make our own make-believe characters. We would watch all the shows, and we'd always wonder what would it be like if you were there. If you were there, particularly for games.
This is how fan fiction was born.
Really, yeah, this is how fan fiction was born. Notice that fan fiction was not a thing until the last 5-10 years, which was brought about by the guys from our generation who finally grew up and had the means to share the fan fiction. And that's another thing too. We now have an easier access to everything.
Well, with in the wild internet,
Yeah. Let me be your guide. You know?
that's exactly how we can get more stuff.
Right. So from games to comic books to movies, we Pinoys have always been wondering what it'd be like. Coming from a third world country like ours, we don't really have a lot of that, but we do.
Oh.
We have a lot of hidden gems out there that requires just a little bit of dreaming and a lot of hard work. And it's all about being able to maximize on that potential and go for it. And my brother and I have been gaming all our lives, and we've always wanted to be part of that. What would you want to be? I mean, given the chance, would you game creator? What were you always fascinated with?
In games?
No, games, comic books, anime, food, cooking, or whatever. I mean, it's any form of geekery. What were you always fascinated with, and ever wondered what if you were there?
Well, back then, and this is a long time ago, like high school. I was always interested in voice acting.
Like the dubbers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And voice acting really voicing out the character.
Yeah, like voicing out the characters, because it's quite an interesting process, because you really have to capture that emotion of that character and the gravity of that situation. But usually, but that interest came in the form of anime intros and their endings, which was unfortunately cut back even before that. Remember when the Voltes 5 ending was just cut and then came the news right after?
Right. Oh yeah, I remember that.
And there will be these rare instances na papakita nila yung that wonderful ending ng Voltes 5.
Yeah.
It like, wow, how come they don't show this more? That was awesome.
Right.
So that's part of the anime thing. Then it evolved over time. First it was voice acting, because and that was when I made the transition from GMA to AXN.
Yeah. You guys remember AXN? Yeah, AXN was the shit. It was the bomb.
That's where I learned the magic of subs.
Yeah.
Since I managed to see AXN's version of Fushigi Yugi, I clearly saw some form of difference. Oh, it's not just Fushigi Yugi. There's also Flame of Recca.
Oh, yeah, right. It was also shown in AXN.
So I was simultaneously watching those. I would watch Flame of Recca first on TMA, then transfer to AXN. It's like, why is this character's name different?
Yeah.
Then it hit me. They are localizing the names.
Right.
So you gotta wonder, why did they do this? So I gotta know. That curiosity drove me to find out it's just for localization reasons. So after that, I just one thing led to another, and I came across voice actors, and that's the world I got. In anime, that's pretty much all I cared for.